News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodio. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nikonsat. President Bola Tinubu began a two-day visit to France, with both sides seeking increased economic cooperation and Paris looking to boost ties in English-speaking Africa, following a series of setbacks with former allies on the continent. French President Emmanuel Macron says the trip is an opportunity to deepen the already dynamic relationship between France and Nigeria, saying Nigeria is the continent's leading oil producer and has the robust film industry. But challenges posed by insecurity and corruption have left 129 million Nigerians, more than half of the country's population, living below the poverty line. Between Paris and Africa since his 2017 election and after military coups and changing attitudes lessened France's influence on the continent. The Senate has passed for second reading the four controversial tax reform bills transmitted to it by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. These followed a lead debate on the bills presented by Senate leader Senator Opeyemi Bamidele representing Ekiti Central and debated by senators during plenary. Recall that some top officials in Tinubu's government appeared before the Senate, where they made detailed presentations on the bills. Northern governors, traditional rulers, and Northern Elders Forum had earlier rejected the bills, saying the proposed bills were not in the interest of the nation. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has reiterated his administration's commitment to strengthening media practices and fostering democracy. The governor stated these at the 8th Triennial National Delegates Conference of the Nigerian Union of Journalists NUJ holding in Owerri, Imo State capital. Our correspondent Amarachi Ibe completes the story.
Media and democracy. The journalist's role in holding leaders accountable has drawn journalists from across the country to discuss the media's role in nation building and elect new Nigerian Union of Journalists leaders. Addressing journalists at the event, Governor Uzodinma highlighted the media's critical role in promoting accountability and transparency in governance. He assured journalists that his government will continue to support press freedom and create an enabling environment for them to carry out their duties effectively.
UJ has an important role to play in dealing with these challenges and upholding the integrity of the journalism profession. I urge you to take proactive steps to promote ethical reporting, combat the spread of disinformation, and ensure that all journalists are equipped with the skills and knowledge necessary to thrive in the digital age.
The outgoing Nigerian Union of Journalists President, Chris Isiguzo, praised Governor Hope Uzodinma for his generosity and unwavering support, which made the successful hosting of this year's conference possible. He emphasized the inseparable connection between a thriving press and a flourishing democracy.
Journalists are not just people who put together history, who chronicle history. We are the stewards of truth, the watchdogs of power, and the bridge between the people and the leaders. Without a free, fair, and functional media, democracy itself is at risk of being undermined.
The chairman of the occasion, Senator Cities Nassau, represented by Dr. Maxwell Ngele, lauded the courage of journalists in upholding truth and transparency, despite the challenges they face in their profession.
I want to acknowledge the many challenges that Nigerian journalists face, from harassment, intimidation, the economic constraints, particularly in the private sector, where some people...
As the Nigerian Union of Journalists 8th Triennial National Delegate Conference draws to a close, journalists are reminded of their indispensable role in safeguarding democracy and holding leaders accountable to the people they serve. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
The 23rd year dormant Port Harcourt refinery is now operational with 60% daily production of fuel and other petroleum products. The Managing Director, Port Harcourt Refining Company Limited, Engineer Ibrahim Onoja, announced this while conducting members of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Turnaround Maintenance of Nigeria's Refineries, led by its chairman, Senator Kawu Sumaila, round the Port Harcourt refinery in Ileme, River State. Engineer Onoja, however, says the production of fuel, which is a blend of other elements, will be a gradual process to achieve the expected capacity per day. The chairman, Senate Committee on Turnaround Maintenance of Nigeria's Refineries, who is also the chairman, Senate Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream, Senator Kawu Sumaila, expressed satisfaction with the level of rehabilitation work of the entire refinery and hoped that the refining of all the petroleum products will be sustained. The sacked 7th Vice Chancellor of the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, Professor Bernard Udo, has dragged the management of the Federal University Gusau in Zamfara State to the National Industrial Court for allegedly denying him professional rank and employment. Shortly after Udo's sack by the presidential directive following the crisis surrounding his appointment as UNIZIC's VC, occasioned by allegations that he was not a professor and that the process that led to his appointment as the 7th substantive VC of UNIZIC was manipulated by the governing council of the university led by Ambassador Greg Mbadiwe, both the VC of the Federal University Gusau and Registrar Professor Abubakar Muazu and Yakubu Anibusa, respectively, had issued statements vehemently stating that Udo was neither appointed a professor nor employed by FUGUS. Consequently, according to a statement issued by his personal assistant on media and publicity, Charles Otu, Professor Udo disclosed that he has instituted a legal action at the National Industrial Court of Nigeria against the management of the Federal University Gusau in a suit with number NICN ABJ 434-2024. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has applauded the Nigerian Navy for the collaborative and supportive efforts of the international partners in advancing maritime security initiatives and promoting sustainable development of the Gulf of Guinea. President Tinubu, who was represented by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, gave this commendation while delivering a keynote address at the opening ceremony of the 8th edition Symposium of the Heads of Navies and Coast Guards of Gulf of Guinea in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
The Gulf of Guinea is a crucial shipping route for global trade and accounts for about 60% of Africa's shipping trade volume. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was represented by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, charged 8 of navies and coastal guards of Gulf of Guinea to foster international cooperation to tackle maritime challenges and promote sustainable development of the maritime resources. He noted that through shared responsibilities and concerted efforts, the 8 of navies can effectively combat illegal activities at sea, protect the maritime ecosystem, and unlock the immense economic opportunities on the waterways.
It is therefore our collective responsibility to foster international cooperation to tackle these challenges and promote sustainable development of our maritime resources.
The Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, says the symposium underscores the importance of cooperation and the need to strengthen and expand existing regional and international security initiatives. He noted that the symposium is aimed to foster cooperation to the development of Africa's oceans, particularly the Gulf of Guinea nation's economy within the secure maritime environment.
There are still some myriads of challenges such as sea robbery, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, human trafficking, just to mention a few. Most of these crimes are transnational in nature and requires collective approach involving all navies and coast guards.
France Naval Chief Admiral Nicolas Vajo says the symposium is aimed to discuss strategic maritime security issues in the Gulf of Guinea to strengthen the maritime security.
Regional cooperation is progressing positively. These various actions prove the relevance of the Yaoundé architecture of this integrated model. It's a goal to pursue our joint action and continue to develop our partnership. Based on the actual success, there will be room for including able and willing partners who will contribute to the operations under Yaoundé architecture.
The 8th edition symposium of the Heads of Navies and Coastal Guards of Gulf of Guinea is tagged Maritime Security and Sustainable Development in the Gulf of Guinea, reflects the essence of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The House of Representatives is currently in a closed-door session to deliberate on the tax reform bills proposed by President Bola Tinubu. Recall that on September 3, 2024, the President transmitted 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly for consideration. Following the recommendations of the Taiwo Oyedele-led Tax Reforms Committee, the bills include the Nigerian Tax Bill 2024, which is expected to provide the physical framework for taxation in the country, and the Tax Administration Bill, which will provide a clear and concise legal framework for all taxes in the country and reduce disputes. Others are the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, which will repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Act and establish the Nigerian Revenue Service, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill, which will create a tax tribunal and a tax ombudsman. The meeting is expected to douse tension ahead of the debate. The Senate Committee on Army, led by its chairman, Senator Abdulaziz Musa Yaradua, has begun the screening of the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Olabosu Oluyede, for confirmation as the substantive Chief of Army Staff. General Oluyede was appointed Acting Chief of Army Staff on October 30th, 2024, following the illness of Lieutenant General Torí Lagbaja, who passed away on November 5th, 2024. Queen Agaba has the rest of the story.
Senate Committee on Army, led by its chairman, Senator Abdulaziz Musa Yaradua, outlined the expectations for the nominee, focusing on his professional skills, strategic vision, and proposals for addressing issues such as military funding, personnel welfare, and territorial integrity.
This screening exercise intends to bring to bear your professional skills, experiences, and expertise based on your strategic security knowledge and vision towards defending Nigeria from external aggression, maintaining its territorial integrity, securing its borders from violation on land, suppressing insurrection, and acting in aid of the civil authorities to restore order, among others.
The screening exercise, conducted behind closed doors due to the sensitive nature of security matters, provided an opportunity for Oluyede to share his vision for the Nigerian Army. For Global Television, Queen Agaba reporting.
The chairman of the National Population Commission, Nasir Issa Kwara, has disclosed that Nigeria's belated census will hold in 2025. Kwara made the revelation at the 2024 anniversary on the Nairobi Summit on International Conference on Population and Development in Abuja. Recall that despite the United Nations recommending population census to be held in countries every 10 years, Nigeria last conducted its own in 2006, making the country 18 years without accurate figure of its citizens. Al-Hassan Yahya Abdullahi from Gombe State has emerged as the new president of the Nigerian Union of Journalists at the 8th Triennial National Delegates Conference held in Owerri, Imo State. Yahya secured a landslide victory with 436 votes, defeating Dele Atumbi of the FCT Council, who received 97 votes, and Mohammed Garba of the Kaduna Council, who scored only 39 votes. Yahya, who works with the Gombe Media Corporation, was the immediate national deputy president of the NUJ and succeeds Chris Izuguzo as the president of the association. Also, Abimbola Oyetunde, a deputy director at the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, also emerged unopposed as the deputy national president. All other positions were also returned unopposed. In his acceptance speech, Yahya pledged to advance the interest and welfare of NUJ members, defend their press freedom, and uphold high journalistic standards. He emphasized cooperation with stakeholders to ensure journalists operate safely and freely while advocating for their rights and safety. The new NUJ president also highlighted plans to leverage technology and innovation to adapt to the evolving media landscape and foster stronger networks among journalists and media organizations. However, Gombe State Governor Mohammed Inuwa Yahya congratulated Abdullahi on his election as the national president of the NUJ. The Edo State Vehicle Recovery Committee has retrieved 30 government-owned vehicles from officials of the immediate past administration. Chairman Kelly Okumboa, the development was disclosed in a statement issued by Fred Itwa, Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Monday Okpeholo. Okumboa commended the whistleblowers for providing critical information and facilitated the recoveries, including 4 vehicles retrieved from the residence of a former high-ranking official and another from a separate individual. He assured Edo residents that more recoveries will be made before the 2-week deadline set for the committee to complete its mandate. He therefore appealed to the public for more information to aid their operations, saying the whistleblowers have been instrumental to the success, while pledging to reward anyone who provides helpful tips. You're watching News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When News Express returns, Transition Company of Nigeria says federal government spends 8.8 billion naira to repair vandalized power towers. Details of these, as well as business and foreign stories, coming right after the break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from the break in business. The federal government has confirmed it spent a total of 8.8 billion naira for the repair and restoration of transmission towers that were vandalized across various regions of the country in 2024. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Transition Company of Nigeria, Ahmed Abdulaziz, reviewed this at the quarterly Power Sector Working Group meeting in Abuja. The Special Advisor to the Minister of Power on Strategic Communication and Media Relations, Bolaji Tunji, in a statement, says the government is yet to achieve prosecution of arrested vandals as they are usually released on bail by the Nigerian police. Abdulaziz, who was represented by the Executive Director TCN Transmission Service Provider, Engineer Olugbenga Ajiboye, revealed that 128 transmission towers have been destroyed either by vandals or bandits across the country between January and November 2024. The House of Representatives has asked its committees on finance, petroleum, upstream and downstream to investigate reports from the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Responsibility Commission alleging that the NNPC, now NNPCL, withheld 8.48 trillion naira as claimed subsidies for petrol. The House further stated that the investigation will address the NAITI report stating that NNPC failed to remit $2 billion in taxes to the federal government. The committees were further directed to verify the total cumulative amount of unremitted revenue from the sale of petrol by the NNPC between 2020 and 2023. This is as the House approved the 2025-2027 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper ahead of next week's presentation of the 2025 appropriation bill to the National Assembly by President Bola Tinubu. Vice President Kashim Shettima has revealed that Nigeria-China trade relations reached $22.6 billion in 2023, making it one of the highest trade volumes between China and any African country. Shettima's spokesman Stanley Wokocha disclosed this on his official X handle. Shettima, while addressing a Chinese delegation led by the vice chairman of the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, Zhang Qingwei, at a meeting in Aso Rock Villa, Abuja, he commended the trade growth and reassured the delegation of Nigeria's commitment to fostering stronger ties with China. Vice President Kashim Shettima has disclosed that Nigeria attracted $1.27 billion in foreign capital from BRICS countries by June 2024, marking a significant rise from the $438.72 million recorded during the same period in 2023. The BRICS bloc comprises Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, alongside newer members including Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and United Arab Emirates. Speaking at the 2024 China-Africa Interbank Association Forum in Abuja, Shettima, represented by the Special Advisor to the President on General Duties, Dr. Aliyu Modibo, highlighted the growing economic ties between Nigeria and the BRICS nations. He noted that Nigeria's status as a partner country within the bloc underscores its commitment to fostering strategic partnership for domestic growth. Oil marketers have outlined the conditions that will make them patronize the newly rehabilitated Port Harcourt Refinery Company in Rivers State. PHRC, under the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, must dispense its refined petroleum product below the prices of Dangote Petroleum Refinery, the dealers had stated. But the NNPCL, in reaction to claims, noted that its petrol price was about 1,045 naira to a litre, stated that the refinery had yet to release its prices as products from the plant were currently dispensed to only NNPCL stations. The oil firm's spokesperson, Olufemi Soneye, revealed that the company was still reviewing its prices and had yet to commence bulk sales as its purchasing portal remained closed. Meanwhile, it was also gathered that oil marketers imported 105.67 million liters of petrol into the country in 5 days. Marketers confirm that NNPC was selling petrol at 1,045 naira to a litre, stressing that they may be compelled to opt for petrol importation as a means of meeting local demands. On the foreign scene, the University of Calgary in Canada has experienced a financial challenge due to a notable decrease in the international student enrollment. This reduction is projected to result in an approximate loss of $11 million in tuition revenue for the university this year. According to the CBC News, the institution revealed that international student enrollment fell by nearly 9% from 6,998 students last fall to 6,394 this year. Australia will ban children under 16 from using social media after its Senate approved the world's strictest laws. The ban, which will not take effect for at least 12 months, could see tech companies fined up to $50 million if they don't comply. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the legislation is needed to protect young people from the harms of social media, something many parent groups have echoed. The government says it will rely on some form of age verification technology to implement the restrictions, and options will be tested in the coming months. The United Kingdom has unveiled its largest visa application center in Africa, located in Ikeja, Lagos. Operated by VFS Global, the new center marks a significant step in enhancing visa application services for Nigerians traveling to the UK. This was contained in a statement by the British High Commission in Lagos, with additional centers in Abuja and Victoria Island, Lagos, now operational since November 19. The facility in Ikeja is designed to streamline visa submissions and offer applicants a seamless experience. The British Deputy High Commissioner, Johnny Baxter, attended the launch in Ikeja, emphasizing the importance of the UK-Nigeria relationship. He expressed optimism that the new center will provide improved services for applicants. And that's how we call it a wrap on News Express. I am Anthony Momodu.
Yeah.